So most people think the biggest threat to selling a home in Calgary is getting the price wrong. But let me be honest with you, that is just a start, because price, that's easy to see on paper. The real threats, they're the ones that don't show up on the listing. The chaos, the stress, the broken deals, the sleepless nights trying to figure out where you're going to live because your move didn't go as planned. These are the conversations I have around Calgary kitchen tables every single week. And today, I'm not going to sugarcoat any of it, because if you're thinking about buying or selling in Calgary this year, you deserve to know the real challenges and how to beat them. If you want real Calgary real estate advice without the spin, please like this video right now. My name is Michael Newton with Gravity Realty Group. I help Calgary families make their biggest moves with clarity, care, and confidence, even when the market isn't making it easy. So let's dive right in. The first threat is interest rates, and not in the most way that people think. Right now, the Bank of Canada is holding the overnight rate at 2.75%. Better than last year's peak for sure, but mortgage rates for most people, they're sitting between 4.5 and 5.5%. Banks are still stress testing buyers at over 7%. That means a smaller buyer pool. Buyers are careful. They're negotiating harder. They have to be sure before they commit. And they're not paying 2022 prices. CREB data shows Calgary sales volumes are down 8 to 10% year over year. Months of supply has climbed to 3.5 months, which is a balanced market, a far cry from the seller's frenzy that we've seen over the last few years. Detached homes in South Calgary, days on market has climbed to 40 to 50 days. And in Cochrane, we're seeing a months of supply of over 5 months. So if you're selling and you don't understand this shift, you're going to price too high. You're going to sit on the market. You're going to watch buyers walk past your listing while they go for one that's priced realistically and marketed well. This isn't fear-mongering. That's just the numbers. And it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about Alberta's economy. Oil is stable, $70 to $75 a barrel is decent, but there is no boom. Energy companies are spending cautiously. Alberta's unemployment rate, it's around 6.3%, above the national average of 5.8%. Yes, we're getting net migration. Over 45,000 people moved here last year from other provinces. But let's be real. Those families are also budget conscious. They're often coming here for affordability, but they're not throwing around cash. They're watching interest rates. They're watching their jobs. And they're worried about bigger economic uncertainty from things like trade tensions with the US, global instability in Europe and in Asia. If you're selling, you need to understand this. Your buyer isn't irrational, they're just cautious. And they should be. They have options. And they're not in a rush to overpay. Here's another threat no one talks about enough, and that's timing. Everyone loves to talk about price. But timing is what kills the deals. Because let's be honest, moving isn't just a transaction. It's your life. It's your kids changing schools. It's getting the possession dates to line up so you don't end up crashing at your in-laws or paying for a hotel. It's avoiding 2 mortgages at once. And here's the truth. Calgary's balanced market means you have to plan. Today, you need to be strategic. CREB's own numbers show inventory is up 12% year over year. More choice for buyers. More competition for sellers. Which means if you wait too long to prep and you assume that you list high to see what happens, you might miss your window entirely. That's how you end up cutting your price just to get a showing. And let's talk about inventory. Balanced doesn't mean easy. It means buyers have options. It means marketing matters. It means preparation matters. It means pricing realistically based on your neighborhood, your property type, your timing. Auburn Bay isn't Cranston. Skyview Ranch isn't Mahogany. Downtown condos aren't South Calgary single-family homes. Every neighborhood has its own market. And if you don't know it, then you're guessing. And guessing is very expensive. Another threat is renovation and move-in readiness. Construction costs are stable compared to the peak pandemic surge, but they're still well above pre-pandemic levels. Labor shortages means that trades are booked out. If you think you're buying a fixer-upper and moving in before school starts, good luck. I've watched families live in partial renos for months because contractors couldn't get there. If you don't plan ahead, you're going to pay for it, either in money or in stress. And let's talk about emotional stress. This is the threat no one sees on the listing sheet. It's the 2 a.m. fights about whether to drop the price. It's the panic when the second deal on your house falls through and you're already under contract on your new place. It's telling your kids you have to change schools after all because you couldn't get the dates to line up. I've sat at too many kitchen tables while families argued about whether to move at all. Not because they didn't want to, but because they didn't have a plan. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it so we can plan, so you can have a plan. Because these threats, they are real. And they're also solvable. Pricing that reflects real demand. Professional marketing to attract serious buyers. Negotiation strategies that protect your interests. Realistic timelines that avoid panic moves. Possession planning that prevents overlapping mortgages or last-minute chaos. Conditions that protect you in your purchase. This is what we do. Not hype, not promises of sold in a weekend, but a plan that actually works. If you're even thinking about buying or selling in Calgary this year or next year, let's talk. Send me a message. Call, text, email. Tell me where you're at. Tell me what you're worried about. And tell me what you're hoping for. I'll help you see what your real options are so you're not blindsided later. And if this kind of real, no-spin Calgary real estate advice is what you want more of, then hit subscribe. Share this with someone you know who's thinking about moving. Because at Gravity Realty Group, we don't just sell houses. We help families move forward with clarity, care, and confidence. We help families thrive.